let me my show. Believe it? Let's see. Oh, we're competing with Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Yeah. Yep, we're on.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We got a comment already.
It's me.
Oh, dude. Just responded.
You know how to do right?
All over the place.
Oh my god. Now I feel like
Yeah, we're on Facebook too. Yeah. They just let me talk. I don't understand why. Well, there's Steeler fans on. Hey, they're on the Sports Network. Yeah, we're competing with them. So yeah, they're talking about Omar Khan. So they can talk about him. I'll talk about Andrew Berry. Hey, Khan. Oh, thank you for joining us. It is the Friday night edition of Burning River Browns Talk. I am Lou Marconi at Marconi251 on Instagram, at Marconi1973 on X. I have a special guest, a friend, and a fellow Browns fan. Tons of fun. Sir, how are you?
Good. How you doing tonight, Beef Stew, Lou, and Sensational Sherry? Thanks for having me on tonight, brother.
Sensational Sherry. Yes, Sherry.
Well, I figured if I went Scary Sherry, I figure I get slapped. So I figured
no. I'm going tonight. Okay, tonight I am going with Phantom of WrestleMania 25 years.
Yes, it is WrestleMania weekend. Why not be appropriate with that?
Well, I'm like in the rafters, okay? I'm in the rafters not paying attention to what's going on.
So Tons, you actually looked me up online, I get it, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir, I did. I saw your beef stew.
Yeah, that was a high school nickname that followed me my early wrestling career. Yeah, I just stuck for a little while. Then eventually some people were like, well, Pro Wrestling Illustrated did this huge thing about bad wrestling names, and I was the top of the list. So that was, I think it was 96. That was 96. Everybody called me saying, do you believe this? Do you believe this? So I called them, and I talked to Brandy Mankiewicz at Pro Wrestling Illustrated in Philadelphia, and I said, thank you.
Hey.
And she was surprised. I was like, what? You got how much publicity you just gave me?
Yeah, no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah. And I said, absolutely. I said, this is great. I said, thank you. Everybody else, because there's people that had like, they were copying The Undertaker. They're called the Gravedigger. Yeah. There were people doing like, stupid gimmicks that just were ripoffs of WWF at the time. And but I said, and they're like, well, Lou Marconi's a cool name, but why this? And they don't understand. And I explained it to her. And then, yeah, she was fine with it. Her and I became friends after that. I haven't talked to her in a long time. Yeah. So, yeah, the whole beef stew thing.
High school was The Undertaker because, like, I was, like, I mean, he aligned with me being, like, a metalhead goth and, like, loving all things dead. So, like in high school, just don't question. Don't question.
I
just
don't.
so, like, that was the one.
I'm sure your Jewish parents loved that.
One rat's patootie over. They didn't care. It was when I was watching like Faces of Death. Then they should have been a little more concerned.
Yeah, I remember those videos.
Oh, yeah. You had to rent them at Blockbuster, like.
Now they're everywhere on the internet.
Yeah, and do you remember what was it like gore.com? Like all this awful stuff, like way back in the way back of the internet, like.
I was never into that stuff.
No, neither was I. I
Well,
can't say
I
that.
hung out with the wrong crowd.
It definitely
They're bad
sounds like it.
influence.
It definitely sounds like, well, yeah. Well, like I said, there's things to talk about with the Browns as well. But we could also just go. I don't mind talking about my wrestling career at all. I
No,
mean,
I'm
yeah, I'm actually, just so you know, just to plug my, I'm going to be appearing on the Squad Pod
okay.
Tuesday. Yeah, they want me to talk wrestling about past post WrestleMania show. So Lana invited me on. I was happy to do it. Yep, I'll be able to give my insight. But actually, if you want to hear stories about wrestling, I'm very happy to do it.
Oh, I
Were
love
you
old.
were
Go
you at
ahead.
'96 SummerSlam when it was at the then, now it's Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, but then was Gundam
Right.
Arena?
No,
But do you
no.
remember that?
I
Were you
mean,
in Cleveland at the time?
they, oh yeah, I Canton. I'm born and raised in Canton.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was there. I was in it.
Oh, okay.
One,
Okay.
I was one of the druids that carried off the Undertaker.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
Cool.
no way.
Yeah, that was
Maybe
'96 SummerSlam.
I
Yeah,
might have
Okay.
seen you
yeah, yeah. I haven't talked to Mick Foley in a
unintentionally.
long time, but I used to travel with Mick all the time. We
Oh,
used to
okay.
travel together. Yeah, Mick Foley, and because
Yeah, he seems like a
he was,
super nice guy.
yeah, very down to earth, very down to
Yeah.
earth,
Yeah.
and he was a well, he was trained in Pittsburgh by Dominic DiNucci, and I wrestled a lot in Pittsburgh. A lot of my career,
Okay.
was Pennsylvania, West Virginia, upstate New York, Ohio, a lot of it early part, especially the early part of my career. So but then I ended up going down to the Carolinas for a while and wrestled in the South. But that was it. But yeah, it was just interesting because I was a part of that, and I did a lot of TV for them back then, so I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
was
tell you
only,
what.
I was young.
What
Go ahead.
Mick did. I mean, just. I mean, of course, his ultimate moment is, going off the steel cage.
Yep, that was in
Body drop off.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, he's just your normal guy off the street, and what he did was just so phenomenal. It's such respect
He
for him.
Oh, absolutely. That was in Pittsburgh. The next night,
Okay.
that was pay per view. That was in Pittsburgh. The next night, Monday Night Raw was in Cleveland. I was there at Cleveland. I
Okay.
looked. I saw him. He couldn't even move. I was like,
Okay.
Mick.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm like, Mick, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, are you? Are you out of your effing mind? What's wrong with you, man?
Wasn't later in the match whenever Taker choke slammed him through the cage and the
Mm.
chair came down and he had a tooth coming up through his lip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
He just
great.
did this stuff.
Well, I mean, he got his own rear ripped. I mean, you get your own ear ripped off. I mean, that's a dedication to the
Yeah,
sport right there.
yeah, he was missing everything. It was just Mick. Yeah, that was Mick. But
That's
yeah,
hardcore. That's hardcore.
oh yeah, because at the time I was a student at Cleveland State.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, ask us all questions, please. Yes, thank you, Sherry. Sherry's with NEO Insiders and considered a
Yes.
friend, and she's my DJF
Yes.
as well, my designated Jewish friend, and that's what she is. Tons.
Yes.
So go anything you want to plug, tons. Anything you want to talk about.
Oh no,
You're just
no,
on here to have fun.
just here to have fun.
Good.
Okay. Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got to tour WJCU studio.
Yes, tell us about that.
I saw that.
It was incredible, in my opinion, which I have a lot of opinions. And I've been to, I've lived at a lot of universities. I've, been an academic for close to 20 years. And we've been at a lot of colleges. And hands down, WJCU is the best radio station I've ever had the privilege to listen to. So getting to meet the radio personalities in real life, like, fangirl, I was like out of my mind. I was like, oh, will you take a picture with me? And then my favorite DJ on there followed me on Instagram. And now I'm like, oh, I can't believe you followed. Yes, exactly. Spilkas. I have Spilkas
All right.
for months. And right now is their metal show, Metal on Metal, which is quite excellent. And that's Bill Peters who does that show.
Metal on Metal. That wasn't
Well,
that a
actually, I
song
think
about
it's over by now. I think it cuts off at 9. But I mean, it
what?
was really great making pizza to metal, and I happen to love heavy metal
Yes.
and pizza, so win-win.
Wasn't that a song by the group Anvil called Metal
Yes, it
on
is.
Metal?
That's he does March of the Crabs is his intro, then Metal on Metal by Anvil. And then he was running down all the things that are going on like in the next few days
Yeah.
concert-wise, a lot of like tributes and covers, and then talking about Judas Priest coming to town.
Oh, really? With who's this? Is it who's the singer on Judas Priest now? Is it the original singer or is it Tim
That I have
Owens?
to Google.
Okay, I'm just curious because the movie that Mark Wahlberg played the heavy metal rock star that was it was based on Tim Owens from Ohio became the singer of Judas Priest. It was based on his story. I think it was called Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay. Okay.
So
You guys like
just
this is Spinal Tap because
Spinal Tap's a great movie.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Okay, but it is Browns talk, so we're gonna talk Browns
Sorry.
in a minute
Sorry.
here. No,
They're
in a
great
minute. I know
football games.
we're about 11 minutes in, but it's fine. We get stuff out of our system.
It's the
Just
off
so you know,
season. What are you going to talk about?
when I met Tons, he had no idea who I was.
No.
No, I was, hey man, can I get a picture? Yeah, sure. We just stood there, got a picture. Thanks. That was it. That was it. And then all of a sudden he sees it on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, I didn't realize this was you." He's like, "He didn't know who I was." Yeah, well, Lana. I was like,
Right?
yeah. What's that? Lana and I want to say Yvette and basically the Squad Pod gals were the ones like, yeah, that's Lou.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
but it's like he's a
Yeah. They
wrestler.
came and hung out with you a couple times last year up there at the West 6 tailgate. They came up
Oh
and we
yeah,
all hung out
yeah.
together a
We all
little
hung
bit. Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And a couple times I got to see Kozar. Just I didn't really get a pic with him, but I
Yeah.
just said, hey, Bernie, what's going on? He's pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was cool. There is one story
Yeah.
because I told this story. One I used to work at WKYC as
Okay.
editor and a photographer, and I
Oh,
also
okay.
worked as an editor at WOIO, and I interned at
Okay.
Fox 8.
Oh, okay.
I interned with Daryl Ryder. That's how long ago it
Oh,
was.
okay.
Well, I'm in my early 50s now, but
Yeah.
when I was shooting a story, it was on a Sunday morning, and I guess Bernie Kosar and Reggie Langhorne were just playing like flag football with some Cleveland school
Mhm.
kids. I was the only one there from the news
Oh,
stations.
okay.
I went to to go shoot it, and they came out of the limo. This is the only time I ever did this. I had a Sharpie in my pocket, and I had a Browns hat on. Langhorne and Kosar signed it
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I swear to God, serious as a heart attack. They did that because it's not really considered professional to do it, but there was nobody
Right.
else
Right.
around.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my then girlfriend, because it was around the same time, uh, it was at then Progressive. Well, it was Jacobs Field at the time. It's Progressive Field
Yeah.
now. The Rangers were playing the Indians, and that was when A-Rod was with the Rangers,
Okay. Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
was the highest paid player in baseball.
Right.
And I got to I got to be the photographer to get the after game sound for
Oh, okay.
A-Rod. So I got to meet A-Rod. Buck Showalter
Okay.
was there, and Buck
Oh.
Showalter was not a nice guy. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm not going to swear. He was just like
Right.
he did not want to talk to us. But
Right.
A-Rod was about to sit down and eat after the game, and he looked at it. He goes, "Do you guys want to do this?" Because he knew we were there for him. And
Right.
he's like, "Oh no, you can eat." He goes, "No, it's okay. I'll give you what you need." Like he talked to us for like 3 minutes.
Nice guy.
He was cool. Yeah, A-Rod was cool.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it's funny because my girlfriend at the time was like, "Did you get an autograph?" I said, "You can't do that.
Right.
Right.
You
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that." Now, the only time I ever did that, I thought this was okay. I brought a Sharpie with me. I knew where I was going, and I was the only one there. Nobody's there, and I have the
Yeah.
hat. It's in storage right now, but actually Kozar and Langhorne signed it, so it was cool. It was cool. But anyway, that was my Kozar story.
Well,
And
that's my.
he had his Super Bowl ring on. He was wearing his Super
Oh,
Bowl
okay.
ring
It was Dallas.
from the Dallas, and he
Yeah.
let me hold it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got
cool.
I got the whole two. I got the whole Kozars and Greg Pruitt's with the Raiders.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And then Cleo Miller had he had a USFL championship ring
Okay.
back in the 80s when he played for the Michigan Panthers. So that was pretty cool. So Anyway,
Well, I know, that says if you ever see pictures of West 6, I have a guy with me, Tim Gibson. He wears the brown suit.
yeah,
I call him my manager. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the coolest moments for us is that we've actually become acquaintances with Bernie. So whenever he sees us, he always makes a point to come over and talk to us. And Eric's like, "Oh my God, I'm friends with Bernie Kosar." It's like one of the highlights of my life.
yeah. I think who else did I run into on West 6 that I couldn't believe was there? Was it no? It I'm trying to remember. It
Metcalf was there a couple of years ago. Eric
yeah,
Metcalf was
but
there
no,
like 2 years ago.
no, it wasn't Eric Metcalf. I wanted. I think it was Dixon. I think Dixon was there. Did you
Okay,
run
might have
into?
been.
Did you run to Hanford? Yeah,
No.
Hanford Dixon. Yeah,
Okay.
but it was just real like he was just kind of walking through, and I was like, hey,
Okay.
just kind of like looked. And
Right.
another one time at the Survivor Series in the early '90s at the old Richfield Coliseum.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is before we had cell phones. I would have gotten a picture with him.
Right.
Clay Matthews was
Oh
there
yeah.
with his kids.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I said hi to him, and I shook his hand. I said, "Clay Matthews, what's up,
Right.
man?" He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" He was just trying to get through and get his kids sit down. And he
Right.
was,
Right. Right.
yeah, he was just. I didn't want to bother him too much, but that was another cool one.
Well,
But
I
go
think
ahead.
I think the picture you and I have together was at the preseason game, and I have on my stomach about getting Clay into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the one I want. I mean, having Joe Thomas in this year was awesome. It was a great weekend
He
living
belongs
in
in the
Canton.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
Matthews
Clay needs
belongs in
in.
the Hall
Yes,
of Fame.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Look,
That's-
considering his longevity, what is now? Is
yeah,
his brother Bruce in already?
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think Bruce went in.
yeah, Bruce went in. Yeah, he belongs in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait for that day because that's going to be an amazing week down here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think it's going to happen eventually, and
Yeah.
it'd be just well, there's players for the Browns that have been held out for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question because I brought it up to Cameron and I brought it up to Jack Duffin, and nobody would go there because I think they're trying not to. Meaning that I think there's a bias towards the Browns.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
like I saw a Pro Football Focus story today, and the headline was the Browns are doubling down on Watson. I'm like, what do you mean? They're trying to get him healthy, get him see if
Right.
you put weapons around him, and you invest all this money and draft picks in a guy. You're going to try to make sure he succeeds. Is that doubling down? I mean,
Right.
But
whenever they who's just signed whenever Houston signs Stephon Diggs, they don't say Houston's doubling down. They're just saying, "Wow, Houston's making great moves," and when the Browns do it, it's a different spin on it. It's
Lysandra made a really good point on Twitter, and I agreed with her on it too. Was that Stephon Diggs? Something went wrong in Minnesota. Something went wrong in Buffalo. Now he's in Houston. He might work out. I'm not saying he will or he won't. But then do you see the criticism we got for the Jerry Jeudy trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got him for nothing. I mean, we basically a 5th and a 6th round pick, and then he's turning 25, and we said, guess what? We're going to sign him long term. So we have him under contract for 4 years.
So old.
Yeah. Well, and now Amari Cooper's about to turn 30, and that's usually the age where. Yeah. What's that, Tons?
I said that's ancient for a receiver, in the NFL. So he's long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the average NFL career is 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The wear and tear and the abuse that they take on their
Absolutely.
bodies. That doesn't matter which team you play for. You're only human.
Oh yeah.
Like guys like your Ray Lewis's or your Ben Roethlisberger's or your Tom Brady's. Those are the exceptions. Those aren't the rules.
Yeah.
And what is the one joke? The NFL stands for not for long.
Not for long. Yeah.
Not for long.
Well, you're saying about the bias, and I think a good example of that I forget who it was that came out with the top 10 coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Stefanski wasn't even listed on there anywhere. 2-time coach of the year after everything he did with losing to everybody last year. But I agree 100% for years that I liken it to professional wrestling, and it's like the Browns are the jobbers. they get no respect. Just they're laughing stock every year, and that's the way the NFL wants it to be. And I feel they've been disrespected for a long time.
Let me ask this, because I agree, but I think the last 4 years, one, we have a winning record, we have 2 playoff appearances, we have a playoff win, and honestly, Stefanski just passed up Belichick in wins in 4 years, and Belichick did in 5. Do you think it's starting to turn? It's just taking longer than we thought, or no?
I think that there's, with the Watson signing, I think there's always going to, while he's still on the team, I think there's always going to be a certain amount of the media and fan base that's biased towards that. So it doesn't matter what the Browns do, they're never going to jump on the bandwagon, so to speak. I think there will always be a bias, and I think some of it goes up to the league office that they don't like that Haslam signed that big guaranteed contract, and I think there's some bias in the league office that make sure that things are a little slanted to make sure the Browns don't, look as good as they could.
Well, there's also too, but you know what the amount of guaranteed money Joe Burrow got last year? 219 guaranteed. That's $11 million less than what Deshaun got guaranteed. And now he's like the 6th or 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. That's 2 years in 2 years. So it doesn't look as bad.
Right.
Jack Duffin, I always recommend, is the best guy to follow. I mean, Sherry, you saw the interviews with him.
Yeah.
And and he's telling you how they're strategically managing the cap and doing what they're doing. What he actually anticipates Watson kind of redoing his contract, but adding an extra dummy year and restructuring. And that way, if the cap gets high enough by 2028, and if it doesn't work out, he doesn't get another contract. He's still going to get that money, but it's going to spread out an extra year. So yeah, and if they do draft somebody, they could develop them in those couple of years and do like a soft reset. They could still do it, but take a look at our roster. And I take an objective look at our roster. I said this to Cameron last week, and I said it to Jack. I said, this team, were you at the San Francisco game, Tons?
It was a home game.
You there?
I was at least up in Cleveland.
Okay.
Hello? You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the game, but I would have been but
okay, you might be having internet. Yeah, I hear you. You're breaking up.
Okay.
There you go. So you were there, you were downtown, but you might not have been in the
I was downtown. Correct. Yeah.
I was at the game. Okay. And I remember 49ers fans being nervous before the game.
Right.
And we beat the NFC champions with PJ Walker at quarterback. That same NFC champions took the world champion Chiefs to overtime in the Super Bowl.
Right.
If I recall correctly, didn't we also beat Baltimore in Baltimore?
Yes.
The number one NFC seed, the number one AFC seed we beat.
Yeah.
And now if we get people back healthy and contributing, and you figure with all the injuries we had, we still won these certain games. Now, sometimes you get some luck go your way, but I don't see why this team can't contend.
Oh, no, that's
And I think go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it just sucks that we're in the toughest division. The Browns could have a tremendous year and still be in, depending on how Russell Wilson does, they could be in 3rd or 4th place. So I just we're in such a killer division that hurts. Yeah. It hurts our chances.
Well, we also how Lamar Jackson does. Keep in mind, I heard this too. Who's the guy on YouTube? Quincy Carrier. I didn't know this until I heard it from him. Baltimore lost 3 starters on defense. They lost Patrick Queen, who went to Pittsburgh. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, who went to Carolina. And Geno Stone, their safety, went to Cincinnati.
Okay.
So they lost 3 They also lost 3 starting offensive linemen in free agency too.
Oh.
That's rough. If that stuff happened here, people would be pressing a panic button. I mean, I don't know how it's going to affect them or what it's not going to affect. You know, I don't know exactly what
Right.
the word will be on that, but only time will tell. But Baltimore always has a way
Right.
of replacing players.
Mhm.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's wrist injury, that looks scary. That was towards the end of the
Yeah.
year. And
Yeah,
he just
that was
that was
that was gnarly. Yeah.
ligaments are different than Deshaun Watson's bone in his
Yeah.
shoulder. He's his throw shoulder. He's his ligament in his throwing wrist. So it all depends on how Burrow recovers too. And then
Mhm.
you've got two guys. Okay, yeah, Pittsburgh made bold moves because their quarterback sucked last year.
Right.
Were you in the stadium for the Pittsburgh game? That was the most satisfying
Yeah.
moment.
There. I mean, it was. Yeah. I mean, he was horrible.
Well, it was amazing because I was by Steeler fans and they were jawing the whole
Okay.
game, jawing the whole game. And then once we won, I told Cameron, remember what did I do, Sherry? What
Yes.
did I do? How did I handle myself?
You were a gentleman.
Yeah, I
Always.
walked right up to him. I just smiled and shook his hand. I
Yeah.
said, "Have a good night." And the guy just
Right.
it deflated him.
Mhm.
I said, "Have a good night. Thanks."
Yeah.
And smiled and walked.
Yeah.
It just did just like, and it's just like, oh, that it's
Yeah.
like you would have rather I cussed him out and danced and did
Right.
something stupid in front of him, which I wanted to, but I was like, no,
Right. Right.
no.
That's what they would do.
That's what Yinzers would do. Right. If people listening, if you don't know what a Yinzer is, do you know what a Yinzer is, Sherry?
I lived with one.
You live with
Yeah, his diaper was pinned with a pickle pin, like a Heinz pickle pin. I mean, come on.
Yinda.
It
The
doesn't get more
Yinzers.
Yinzer than that.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. So, yeah, we beat Pittsburgh with DTR at quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, and also this was another misleading stat that I talked to Jack Duffin about. You heard that one about how much points they give up on the road. Well, they're just looking
Yeah.
at points. They're looking at the score. There was 14 points that our offense gave up to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Right? Okay, that's one road game. Baltimore, there was a pick six, and then there was a muff punt on the 10-yard line. Okay, that's two. That's 14 points.
Mhm.
Now, let's see. Indianapolis, that was a bad defensive game. I'll give that. Defense didn't play well, but we made a lot of plays. It was just one of those types of games. Denver, there was turnovers that led to double-digit points for the Broncos and for the Rams. Okay, so that's 5 so far. So there's 3 more left. Okay, let's see. These are road games I'm talking about.
Right,
Cincinnati
right.
game, everybody sat, so that doesn't count. Houston, they dominated Case Keenum. Okay, so that's one more game. I'm trying to think. What was it? Oh, Seattle.
Oh,
Seattle. The only time the defense looked bad in that game was at the very end when they drove down on us. But that was
yeah,
after
go
that
down.
turnover. That was after that turnover.
Turnover rate. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they got some plays on us in the beginning, but the defense tightened up. And in the playoff game, I pointed this out too. The defense got us opening quarter stop in the third quarter, the opening second half stop. We were driving. It was about to be a 1-score game. Pick six,
Right.
done.
Right.
The game was over.
Right.
And I kind of knew at that point. I didn't think Flacco was coming back. I didn't. I didn't think he was going to fit when they brought in Dorsey and they're changing up offensive staff.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't fit. And thank you,
Yeah.
Joe. I appreciate it. That was great. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I remember leaving that Chicago game and we got off the Rapid. I was with my friend Harvey. Harvey took our picture, and
Okay.
we were talking to other fans. We're like, how did we win that game? We shouldn't, yeah, because do you think about it? 14 of those Chicago's 14 points, we beat them 17-14. One was a pick six, the other one was practically a pick six because it got all the way to the
Yeah.
1-yard line. It took them 4 plays to get it 1 yard,
Yeah. Right.
and that's Justin Fields. Okay, that's
Yeah.
how good we are. So,
Mhm.
and we're running everybody back. I mean, Jordan Elliott got replaced by Quentin
Yeah.
Jefferson, Devin Bush, and Jordan Hicks replaced Taki and Anthony Walker. Otherwise, we're bringing everybody back. I can't think of
Right.
any other changes we're making on defense.
Right.
Let me ask you this, and Sherry, you can answer this too. I'll go to you first because I want to make sure you talk because I love your mask.
It's got a little 50 Shades of Grey feel to it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Whoa! That was not my intent and purpose.
I meant 50 Shades of Scarlet and Grey since you're a Michigan
Oh,
kid.
yeah. Oh.
I'm gonna go change like Superman into like amazing blue girl.
Okay. No. Do you see? I'll go to you first, then I'll ask Tons. Do you see the Browns trading Greg Newsome for draft picks?
Oh man, see, this is my problem. I get attached to people, which I shouldn't. It should be strictly business.
Yep.
But I'm not a business person. That's my problem. Like, because people are not, commodities, and
In the
So
NFL, they are.
Yeah, in NFL they are.
I mean, in medicine, I've seen it a lot in medicine too. No.
Okay.
I
Because
was
you feel an emotional
in
attachment. You feel an
Yes.
emotional attachment. Okay. That's perfectly logical. That's fine.
Like when we got rid of Donovan People-Jones, of course, like
He went to
I
Detroit.
sat
He went home to
Shiva.
Detroit.
I sat Shiva.
Mhm.
I mean, I was happy he went to Detroit because,
Mhm.
Ann Arbor, go blue. But me being selfish, I wanted him here in Cleveland. But I was happy that he could,
No. Well, I liked him in Cleveland. He made some plays. He did some
I
good
thought
things.
he
Yeah.
was great. I think we didn't get
Yeah.
his full potential. I feel like
Well, yeah, I think there really wasn't much for him here anymore. So they gave him they sent him to a place where he had a chance to make an impact, which was
right.
Detroit.
What is
Detroit
it?
was a good fit
If
for
you
him.
let him, if you love him, let him free. And if he comes back, isn't that the old adage?
Well, yeah, true. I remember that Donovan Peoples-Jones was a 6th-round pick in the 2020 draft, and
Right.
I was like, I heard that we got him in the 6th round. I was like, that was a good pick. I was impressed with Andrew Berry's first draft. Two things. Well, first off, Tons, do you think Greg Newsome will be traded?
I mean, this front office seems to love collecting draft picks. So if they could get a couple late round, middle round, it wouldn't surprise me that they would make
They
that move.
also love defensive backs, good defensive backs, and we have. And it
We have,
seems like, Denzel Ward, as great as he is,
Mhm.
he has the propensity to miss games.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm leaning towards them keeping him. I used to think unless they could get like 2 top 100 picks for him,
Mhm.
like a second and a third, I don't see them doing it. Plus, this draft class is not that good.
Mhm.
Once you get past the 3rd round, it's like it's the NIL, the COVID,
Oh yeah,
all,
COVID
all
was a
those things are
huge
kind of
thing.
happening at this, and we only have 5 picks, so I could see them taking flyers on some developmental guys. Our roster is pretty much set already.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you're seeing like when they Hardy, Justin Hardy, that was a back end roster guy. I mean, that was a special teams guy, which I'm glad we got him. We could use good special teams players anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was happy we got him, but you could kind of see this. It's like, huh. And the biggest need was a number 2 receiver, and we took care of it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking they're I don't see them blowing it up too much. Well, okay, switching gears now, back to that national perception because of the Watson contract. They're thinking we're handcuffed, we can't do what we want. Answer me this question: have we released any player due to salary cap reasons since signing Watson in 2022? Okay,
Not that I can think of.
nope, we haven't. And what's are we under the cap or over the cap right now? You'd have to look it up, but
We're under.
we're under. Yeah,
Sure we're under.
the salary cap situation's pretty good.
Because a lot of guys are reworking their contracts too to help, which
Yeah.
is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, really, the players get their money. It's just a matter of how they get it, and it's just a matter of
Right.
how it counts towards the cap. And you can spread it out and restructure it. There's like automatic things in there, and I think if he restructures Watson with that dummy year, that's going to roll over another 30 million in the next year. It's absolutely brilliant, and I wouldn't be surprised if Watson plays well this year and next year and stays healthy. He's got, like I was telling Cameron and she agreed. Remember that he has to learn how to run out of bounds and slide and quit taking.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
He
she's
needs more
like, yes.
baseball. He needs more baseball training, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Somebody to take him.
Yeah.
Because those are
Yeah.
baseball moves, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And it's great heart. I mean, she shows great heart, but as your, quarterback, you don't want to take in those shots.
No, you don't. And what he did against Baltimore in that second half, Adam the Bull said something that I completely disagree with. He said he had a decent second half in Baltimore. I went, he had a high ankle sprain, a broken shoulder, went 14 for 14, threw for 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. That's not decent. That's excellent. That's like,
well, it's game winning. I mean, it's
yeah. Always go ahead.
If it was Brady or anyone else, it'll be fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's what.
It just sounded like you were describing my workout at the gym the other day. Really,
it was decent.
No, all the injuries.
Oh, all the injuries.
I tripped over one machine, landed on another machine, had a high ankle sprain, and sprained my scapula.
Well, doubling down on Watson, which is like, I don't get that. I mean, the double down. Actually, I did an article which was, I think, the worst trade in NFL history wasn't for Deshaun Watson. It was the Russell Wilson trade.
Oh.
Yeah.
Denver's paying Russell Wilson the next 2 years.
But they're getting all the Primanti brothers they could eat for the rest of their lives.
They're paying him. They're paying him $85 million to not be in Denver.
Yeah.
After they released him like that, and it's just like you would think you try to make it work, but if it's that bad, it's that bad. Then you have the draft picks they gave up to get Sean Payton, because they first gave up draft picks and had this coach, brought in Russell Wilson. This is our plan. This is what we're going to run with. They fired their coach. They gave up all these draft picks to bring in Sean Payton, and then Sean Payton's like, get rid of this guy. So
there's a lot of dysfunction in Denver right now, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's nice to see somebody else. Now there was a time when the Browns were 100% dysfunctional. I mean,
oh yeah,
we got a comment, Lou.
We got a comment.
So excited.
Well,
Rob.
how come I don't see? Oh, Rob, wait a second. Restructure potentially Cooper, Chubb, and Watson, and making moving on from Cotton frees up a lot of space. And he said sign. Did he say Joker? Is that what you said, Rob? Joker? I'm trying to read that correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think Cooper's going to get an extension and rework. Chubb's going to get a restructure, and Watson will. But Watson probably won't be till August. These might not happen till closer to training camp, around training camp time. And they could sign. They could free up a lot of money and sign a lot of things. I don't know how big the Cooper extension will be. I did notice this. Speaking of Nick Chubb, because that's a big kind of like mystery right now. We're question mark. You could say, yeah, it's a good way to put it, Tons. Sherry, you and I were at the Jets game.
Yes.
The Browns Jets game last game of the season, Thursday night. Tons, were you downtown? Were you there?
I was downtown. Yep.
Okay. Did you see before the game started? Nick Chubb came out.
Okay. With the Batman mask on.
But he climbed the stairs, put the Batman mask on, and smashed the guitar.
And the guitars are heavy. They're not light.
And then he walked down the stairs. No crutches, on his own. Didn't limp. 6 weeks after his second knee surgery. I'm like, and the place went crazy.
It was It was electric. I mean, that was
that energy to be there, to watch them be there when they clinched a playoff spot.
Right.
That was that, and plus that was the one game my wife came with me.
Yeah. He wasn't bored or annoyed, which I was happy about.
I could annoy her if I wanted to, but
next time I'll let her. She'll sit with me, and you can get Matt.
Yeah. I'll breathe on him just to. Matt's a germaphobe. Her boyfriend Matt is a germaphobe.
Okay.
He'll be lit. You can breathe off. One time, I remember we were there preseason. It was raining spiders on us. Like one game, it was just like, it was awful.
See, where I sit, I'm high enough. I'm high enough, Jason, that I'm covered.
No spiders rain on
Right.
him. He didn't get
Yeah.
the plague to pass over. I did.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's been awesome. But that's just to give you, and it was so funny because Matt and I are like the slow walkers. I have
Mhm.
arthritis in my knees from all the wrestling and everything,
Sure.
and and he just walks slow. So Sherry and Christine are like way far ahead of us. I'm like, I wonder
Wait,
what they're, I'm like, wonder
Yeah,
what
we
they're
were like
talking
holding
about.
on to each other because we didn't want to get like lost in like the big
Yeah.
crowd, you know. So we were like holding on to each other.
It's like
You
slow
know, as
down,
girls
guys.
often do.
Yeah, but it was a
Well, I
good
have the
time.
same thing just because I'm fat, so I
Yeah.
understand.
No, no. I was waiting. I have a little bit of a weight problem. No, no. That was from Stripes. That was from Stripes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Conklin next year. Yeah, I'm not sure what Conklin's going to do. I think it depends on how healthy he is and he comes back. He's 28 and he had a lot of injuries. I will say I did an article that came out today about I'm Emidenji, the tackle from Yale.
Yeah.
I see him getting drafted. That makes sense because you got Jed Wills on his last year of his contract. You got an injury riddled Jack Conklin, and then you have DeJuan Jones, who's going to be very good, and he's
Yeah.
going to be
Right.
a long term answer
Yes,
there.
he
So if
is.
you get
Yeah.
another guy, you could plug him in next year at the left side, and you got two young tackles. The next thing you know, you get younger at the guard because Posic's still relatively young. You could transition because Batonio's in his 10th year now, or this would be his 11th year. But guards can play a lot longer than you'd say a receiver or a running back, and as opposed, Teller and they might look to draft up. I heard they're going to be looking to draft offensive linemen in this draft, and I could
Okay.
I
see.
was gonna bring up Teller, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, what about Wyatt Teller?
No,
Yeah,
I mean that was
yeah.
the same question, like question mark for him, right?
hmm Yeah, and the only thing I want to see, like, not having Bill Callahan with his offensive
All
line,
right.
what kind of impact that'll be, but we'll have to see. So, I mean, a lot of stuff was program changing with, I would say, in the
I think
last
that's. I
year.
mean, I'm scared that's going to be one of the worst losses we have in the coaching is Bill Callahan. It's that move that one of the season makes me nervous with that.
Yeah, me too. I would agree with that. But yeah, thanks for the comment, Rob. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, Conklin next year. That's some things are going to work out. I would think going back to the Chubb thing too, Conklin and all these, they have the team knows how these guys are progressing and where they're at. You notice they didn't go crazy in free agency trying to get a running back.
Right. Right.
I'm not saying he's going to be ready week one. Probably
Mhm.
not. Probably
No,
not.
we don't speculate.
We,
I heard you earlier today. You don't speculate.
No, I'm not just guessing. I'm just saying. Look,
Right. No, I know.
if they think he wasn't going to be able to play next year, they would have done something
Right.
at running back by
Oh,
now.
absolutely. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so. I think they're thinking, okay, week 5 or 6, he can come back, and how
Yeah.
good he will be, I don't know. I mean, we don't know anything about his rehab now. Watson,
Right. Yeah.
who went to lefties to get cheesesteaks?
He did.
Wasn't that by you, university?
Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
very, very close to me, within walking distance, but I had no idea
No.
that was going on. So I'm like, I didn't like see anything about it until like 22 hours later, and I'm like, why is this not chronologically correct on my
Yeah.
whatever. I was busy talking to college kids. To me, that was a little more important.
I'm the old man to college kids. You kidding me? Like, he's old.
Well, I was talking to Notre Dame students.
Yeah.
I was counseling them and hugging them and sitting on the very, very large tire that I didn't know I'd be allowed to ever sit on. So I ran out on the field and I sat on the giant, the CrossFit tires, those giant
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So
You gotta pick 'em up.
yeah, and it made me feel like a little teeny weeny, like I felt very teeny weeny on it. It was a good feeling.
I just can't believe Stefanski girl didn't go over there with Kevin Stefanski being out.
I don't think
in
she
public.
knew.
I can't believe she didn't run over there.
I don't think Lana knew.
Yeah,
I
she
kept
would've-
looking for
I picked
stalking
me
him.
up. She would have picked me up. She would have been like, "Get in, we're going walking." You have to pass my house to get to that
I
place.
have a feeling if I was in a car when she was driving, I'd be fearing for my life if she was driving.
I've been in a car with her. I was
She's
in
little,
a-
but she's mighty.
Yes.
She drove me home after she met Kevin Stefanski. After
It'll
she
be like
had
the
her
Dukes of Hazzard.
Stefanski experience. I counted through it. I kept the signature safe in the rain. She drove me home in the rain. It was fine. It was fine. It was totally fine.
I think,
It was
yeah, you
all
were there,
right.
and you were there with Spider. You were there with Spider.
I was there
Oh,
with a
but
lot
yeah.
of people. I've been
Spider's
there
a
with
good
a
dude,
lot
man.
of people.
Yeah, he is absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely. I
wondering.
love Spider.
Yeah, I'm wondering that, but my thinking with best the Deshaun Watson thing, he's out there saying he'll be ready week 1, which I thought he would
Yeah.
be. I think I don't see him playing at all in the preseason, very little, if any.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to risk it. I think if he'll, but hey, we're going to see they're going to go to the Greenbrier again, which I thought was great. I we're supposed to get an announcement this week about Brazil.
Right.
That
Yeah.
didn't
I
happen.
keep
Yeah,
waiting on it.
I
yeah.
think we all are. We're all like at the edge of our seats trying to plan. Like,
Who's
you
going to
know?
Brazil? All right, who has their
I'm not
passport in order?
I
I'm not
already
going.
went on. I reserved hotel rooms for that Friday night in case there's a party or tailgate or anything down there. So I'm ready to party in Cleveland, but I can't make it to Brazil.
Nah,
I don't want to get the vaccines to go to Brazil.
no.
I don't want to get the shots.
I think my counterpart, my partner and counterpart in Sunday Stew Pot, wrestler Corey Castle's in Philadelphia, and he agreed. We're gonna do a live watch along on here
Okay.
while the game's going because by NFL rules we can't broadcast the game through here,
Yeah.
but we can watch it and comment on it like on our own
Talk about it.
and talk about it. Yeah, which I'll be happy to do. That'll be fun. We'll be
It'll be
taking
so much
bathroom
fun.
breaks. Yeah, if I swear, I swear, guys. Sorry.
Me too.
You're just primers. Whenever Jimmy Donovan retires, you can step right in to become the next
Oh,
Browns
Oh,
broadcaster.
he's not going to.
no,
Come on.
Jimmy.
No.
I love
No.
Jimmy.
Oh, I worked with him at WKYC.
Did
yeah.
you?
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
did. Megan, his daughter, loved it. She didn't know the story, but he was my cell phone, my voicemail greeting on my phone.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
He did it for me, and it was like, he ended it with "Run, William, run." He goes right
Oh,
after.
yeah. It's many times after his sports broadcast, I'm laughing, going, "Oh God, I love you, Jimmy. You're so Cleveland. I love you, Jimmy. I love you,
Oh,
Jimmy."
He is Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Tell me about, not for you, Lewis, for tons. Tell me, I want to know a little bit about the drip. Please explain the shirt. I would like the shirt
Drip.
story.
This
Yeah.
I ordered this. It's got all the old school wrestlers on it. Ordered it.
You wore it for me. Who am I seeing?
Yeah.
I've seen all.
I mean, we got everybody. We got Brett. We got Roddy. Got Hakeem, Hulk, and Ultimate. Brett.
Is that Earthquake?
Yeah, we got Earthquake on there.
Yeah, it's John.
Got Honky Tonk Man, Ravishing Rick Rude, Bushwhackers,
Yeah.
Paul Orndorff. Yeah, we got all the old.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, I talked to him. He's got I think it's his son that's on Twitter.
Yeah,
he posts a lot of stuff, and I've talked to him. Online and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you got some Final Four games in Cleveland tonight too. I'm trying to.
Yes, the big one.
Females.
Yeah. Oh, it's on ESPN. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
You got Connecticut versus Iowa right now. And who was the first game? Let me see. I wasn't paying attention. And UConn is beating Iowa 16-11.
Wow.
Well, it's early. That's early.
Yeah, that just started.
Yeah. So who won the first game? Let me take a look. Since it's fine. Yeah, and I guess Stefanski was spotted at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Oh,
Dun, dun, dun. In the wild. Stefanski in the wild.
And right behind him was Lana. So
Lana with a bag of cookies.
yes. Oh, okay. South Carolina beat NC State by 19, 78-59. Wow. Yeah. So that was earlier. So South Carolina's in the finals, and they get the winner of the UConn Iowa. How much you want to bet they want Iowa in this?
Well, with Caitlin Clark, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's very marketable. A very marketable player. Oh, goodness gracious. But the Brazil game, because I pay attention, I get information from all kinds, as many sources as I can. And from what I heard, and pretty reliable people like your Mary Kay Cabot, your Tony Grossi's, them, they were saying it should have been announced. So I do you guys anticipate it being announced before the draft?
I mean, that's in May, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
I
well,
would imagine.
the draft, well,
Isn't it the end of this month? I thought closer
it's
to the
April
end of this month.
25th through the
Yeah.
27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
We
is-
will be
yeah.
on live during the second round because the second round will be, and we might even like, yeah, I don't know if I'm able to or not, but I could try. I don't know. We can have it on while we're talking, and we could do that, and we could see what
Of
the Browns
course.
pick.
It could be in the
Um,
background, like
yeah,
regular TV and
Yeah, that's like regular TV. It's yeah, I always well, see, I did my article today talking about why I don't like mock drafts or why I don't do mock drafts because it's just not one, it's not my thing, and I don't like to speculate, and that's all it is. You're basically throwing darts at a board and guessing
Right.
is when you're doing those. But there's some people that do this job. They do it very well, and they know a lot about the players, and they give you good insight. I think the first 20 to 32 picks of the first round, they're pretty good at it. But after the second round, it's a crapshoot. You have no idea who
Oh,
these guys
absolutely.
are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody does. And the teams that this is their 24-hour day job where they scout players, look at everything. They have a process to whittle their draft board down to 100 players, and that's what they do.
If you've ever watched Draft Day, we know how crazy it can be.
Yes.
So, Vontae Mack, no matter what.
The Kevin Okay, how bad were we as a team when the movie about us turning it around had nothing to do with being on the field, had to do with the draft?
I was hoping I was going to do the same thing for the Browns that Major League did for the Tribe. I mean, the Tribe
10 years
went on
later.
fire after that, but it didn't work for the Browns.
Well, Major League came out in '89. And the Indians turned it around in '94. It took 5 years.
Yeah.
That came out in 2014. And I think the beginning of the turnaround for the Browns was drafting Myles Garrett first overall.
oh, big time. Yeah.
Well, that draft, we got Myles Garrett,
Yes, we
David
did.
Njoku.
Yes, we did.
In the
I was
first
here
round,
for that.
Jabril Peppers was the Michigan guy, but I think he's with New England now, last I heard. He's not
Wait,
he's not with the Browns.
what's his name?
Jabril Peppers, the safety.
Yeah, Peppers. Yeah, yeah.
He's at New England. And then the infamous second round pick of Deshaun Kaiser.
I know.
But
he had me suckered in.
2018. Who do we get in 2018? Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward,
Oh,
Nick Chubb.
speaking of Baker Mayfield,
Nick Chubb. What about Baker?
I have a story.
Okay.
So I got to go. I revisited the exact place I was when I heard Baker Mayfield was drafted by the Cleveland Browns here in Cleveland. It was in a parking lot getting Chinese food. Oh no, did we lose Lou?
It looks like
either way, I'm telling you my story.
it must be Tombstone to somebody.
Apparently you're offended by Chinese food.
I had to take my pants off.
Oh. Because you got excited about the Chinese food. Got it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're taking clothes off. I mean, that's my wheelhouse.
No, I was sweating so bad. I'm wearing shorts.
I believe you.
I'm sweating, so I was sweating so bad. I was like, I didn't want to stand up and drop trout for the camera.
Well, that would have been hilarious.
Jerry's mask, isn't it? Jerry's mask has got you so hot you're sweating.
What was that? What was that joke? I was sweating like a blind lesbian.
I said Cherry's mask has got you so hot you're sweating.
Did you hear?
Oh yeah, my mask. Yeah.
You didn't hear.
Spicy as Szechuan Chinese food.
He didn't hear my joke. He didn't hear my joke.
What
was that?
Sweating like a blind lesbian at a fish market. This is me being tame. Trust me.
Oh no, you do what you got to do, man.
Oh yeah, you got to listen to this. Well, the Stew Pot's on Rumble for a reason. So
okay.
She will tell you some of the jokes and stuff Corey and I talk
about. Oh man, those are my favorite.
Like, when we just yeah.
I'm sure it can't be worse than the Squad Pod, the Bougie Sports, and all them ladies. I know they can get pretty
Oh,
intense.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be
they're going to be like,
comments for that.
oh yeah.
Your emotional support, Jew.
The silent judgment. I am waiting for it when I say joke. Well, no, this is a true story. I was interviewing for a position at a corporation. I was interviewing for a job, and you're interviewing with HR people, and you're nervous enough as it is, and you're all dressed up, and you're sitting in your suit, and you're sweating, and you're not thinking straight entirely. Well, this was a situation when there was several positions in different departments, and she asked me an innocuous question. She just went, "Well, what position do you think is most favorable for you?" And I didn't think. I just blurted out missionary. And the stunned silence and look that she gave me. And then to break that awkward silence, I had to talk about like the coital alignment technique and how it works.
Oh no. No. Somebody summon the Kool-Aid Man, please.
Yes. It's like, I'm not going to get this job, am I?
No, I'm not going to get this job.
Yeah. So that was that. So just, and yeah.
That's because you took your pants off mid-interview.
That's why, I took my pants off mid-interview. You don't mind if I get comfortable, do you? I'm sweating.
You need those
snaps. Brothers. Hello, lady.
Yeah. We're going to interview as a team.
Onions and ketchup. I can taste it on my tongue.
Oh, God. What was the other one? Yeah, what I do have a handicap, but I can't tell you because it's not safe for work. Well, it's amazing I can even walk straight. God.
For the longest time, the lab motto was boats and hose.
Boats and hose.
Oh yeah.
It was approved. We had one of those
That movie was so brilliant.
It was like boats and hose, and we hung it with a sailboat.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
God.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like I said, I just get the awkward silence at these things. It's just something else. So, all right, so like I said, going back about the mock drafts and the speculation, I kind of just said that's something I don't do. What actually the way I'm ending it is like I write what I know about, and I don't write what I don't know about, and it's pretty much that's my job. So I couldn't do anything. Well, there was a story. Do you know who Sir Yacht is?
Of course I do.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Yeah. He did you see his YouTube videos? What's that?
Of course. Yeah. We're both twins.
With past quarterbacks?
Yes.
With the Cleveland Browns. Did you see the one he did with Trent Dilfer?
No.
Oh, it's an interesting story. Do you remember when Trent Dilfer was drafted by Tampa Bay in '94 and Indianapolis had the pick before them and they didn't take him? They took Trev Alberts from the linebacker from Nebraska. Okay. And Mel Kiper was going, he couldn't believe they didn't do this. He goes, what's wrong with them? That was a franchise quarterback. How could you pass up on this guy? And the GM of the Colts was just like, who's Mel Kiper? Who is this guy? He's never worn a jockstrap in his life. What do you thought? I mean, it was like people. I remember we're watching this at my friend's house. We're looking at each other. I go, wow, we've never seen this happen. And Kiper's like, that's why you guys are always going to be the joke of the NFL. That's what he said about the Colts. Oh yeah, it got. Well, Dilfer told the story that Kiper had no way of knowing this, but Dilfer told the Colts, if you draft me, I'm not going to sign with you. I'm not going to play with you. Right. Don't draft me. He told them not to draft him. So they said, okay, we're not going to mess with it. We'll take Trev Alberts. Wish you the best. Which he says he regrets doing that. He should have never done that, but he was young. He figured he could hold out to next year in the '95 draft and be taken first overall by Carolina or Jacksonville. So he knew that. So that was, in a way, that's what happened. So, and Kiper didn't know that. I think if Kiper knew that, he would have not really reacted. So sometimes we, as podcasters, content creators, journalists, or whatever, we don't know that.
Right.
So that's that was the point I was kind of making. Sometimes we don't know, like they could have done an interview with this player and they were like, okay, what's he on? Like, what's wrong with this guy? Well, you like, okay, for instance, we drafted in 2014. Johnny Manziel wasn't the worst pick in that draft. The worst pick was Justin Gilbert.
Yeah.
He never played it down for the Cleveland Browns. He was the 7th overall pick, was a head case, had a lot of problems. I don't mean it in a negative way. He had a lot of problems.
Right.
He needed help. He didn't need to be drafted and get millions of dollars. Never played it down for the Cleveland Browns. He was drafted 7th overall, and nobody from the team met with him or met with his coaches at
Oh, man.
Oklahoma State or anything. They just drafted him. It's like that's why a year later, or not even a year later, within 2 years, they were all fired.
Yeah.
Which that's what happens when you're that's dysfunction.
Mhm.
Johnny Manziel. Did you see the Manziel thing on Netflix?
Yeah, I did.
No, I can't watch. I mean,
He watched
it's too painful.
zero minutes of game tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Didn't study at all. A lick.
Mhm.
Didn't do any of that stuff. Unflippin' believable. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened too. Or if you want to, we talked about the stadium last week. I know we're already been on for an
Yeah.
hour. Damn. We'll wrap it up with this. We'll wrap it up with the stadium. Did you see what was the guy Casey? What was his name? The councilman? I did a video about
there's the
him.
one who's trying to
Yeah.
talk about the running out the lease. They have to get permission or whatever to leave. That.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with this. He has no part in the negotiations with the Browns in the city right now. He has nothing to do with it. Okay. He can introduce the legislation, but if council doesn't if votes to shut it down, does it do anything? No. It could be sent to the mayor. The mayor can veto it. Then they have to override it. Is that how the legislative procedure works? That's my civics 101, right? So he just pretty much politically grandstanded because the spirit of the law itself, because the Browns could take him to court and win, was
Right.
moving that team out of market, not 15 miles in
Mhm.
front of an airport named after that city, Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
Right.
So he just basically screwed. I'm just going to be blunt. He fucked up negotiations because one of the things, if you know anything about negotiating anything, you don't talk publicly. Don't say anything.
Right.
Because look what happens. It causes a big stir and a frenzy,
Right.
and negotiations can be tense. They can be ugly,
Mhm.
but it's a part of a process. And the Browns could be negotiating right now a deal. You want to know what I
Yeah.
think's going to happen? If I'm a betting man, the Browns are going to build the dome at Brook Park, and they're going to help the city of Cleveland rebuild the lakefront.
Yeah.
They're going to do both.
That's the way I would see it.
I've come to terms
too.
with that situation.
Tons. I'll go with you first. Does it make economic sense to have an outdoor only football stadium sitting empty 350 days out of the year on that lakefront?
No, I mean, I the economic point of it, I totally see. Now, as your guest last week said, and this is what I've said, as a diehard Cleveland fan, I want retractable, and I realize they're probably going to have to move to Brook Park. I hate taking all the business away from downtown. I know, but to me, I just hate to see the fact of taking away the Cleveland element and making it all a dome. You know, I would like to see retractable, but I know you have to do something to bring a whole lot more events, into Cleveland that we're wasting right now.
Right. Being passed over on certain concerts. She was a Swiftie. Yeah. My daughters are Swifties.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's my wife will play Taylor Swift and I'll dance around. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. It's like
so cute.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they're not listening to Metallica, so
not listening to stuff Sherry listens to.
Yes, just metal.
But yeah, I know what's going to happen, and I understand. I understand. I just, like the Muni lot, and personally, I have so much fun running around downtown, and Dive Bar, Barley House, all the all the different
Yeah.
places down there.
hanging out at West Sixth,
Yeah,
food trucks and all that stuff. Yeah, like it was so
Yeah.
funny. I took this as a compliment because you know how they have a table set up when you go into you show your ID to get in
Yeah.
at the West Sixth, and there's a table set up, and a guy approached me. He says, "Hey, you ever considered a career in the Secret Service?"
Oh yeah, I know that table. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I looked at him and I was like, "Well, thank you, but I'm 50 years old." He goes, "Oh, thank you, sir. Have a good day." Their age limit's 37.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
They
self-esteem
never asked me
there.
that.
Yeah, it has to me. It has to me. Well, no, I took that as a compliment. See, now you think
Absolutely.
when I grow out the beard, I look my age. I mean,
Right.
in my hair, my beard, gray hair. I mean, Sherry will tell you she saw it, but I will never dye my hair because I had a friend that does that. I have a friend that does it. He's one of my best friends in wrestling. He was my tag team partner. He was the best man at my wedding. He dyes his hair. I tell it looks horrible, but the gray hair
Right.
bothers him that much. And I'm like, dude, I was like, all right, man, it's your head. It's your head. It's your whatever you want.
I don't have any hair, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have to, brother. But it was interesting because there's a podcast named Dan Bongino that was from the Secret Service, and the guy knew him, so it was interesting to talk to him about that. Yeah, but hey, like I said, I like going downtown. I like the atmosphere before the games. Man, I was at the pit with Harvey's friend. His name's Adam. He's down there. He's grilling up chicken and steaks at the pit. It was great. I mean, I loved it. I'm not really a drinker, so I mean, I'll have a beer once in a while, but I don't really drink at the games or anything like that because it's too expensive. But
It's outrageous.
Expensive.
yeah, but I understand the atmosphere. I think you win. Like you remember, like the I don't know if you remember when the Indians moved from Municipal Stadium to
Yeah.
Jacobs Field,
Jacobs Field.
but when we started winning, people didn't care, and it's like we embraced
Well,
it.
yeah,
Quick. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if we win, we're good. Yeah. And keep in mind that stadium. Even Cameron said this last week. That stadium was built in a lot of haste.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Just to get a team in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not. It's not up
It's
to
kind of
par.
junky. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. It's not. It's time, and we're talking 5 years from now anyway, and a lot can
Right.
change between now and then.
Yeah.
But I think they can do more economically with it. They might even build a smaller outdoor soccer stadium and have women's soccer events and other soccer teams play there, plus local high school games played there. We can have more events and more things happening there. Yeah,
Mhm.
kind of like a 10,000 seat stadium, plus have other things up, shops and whatnot, and whatever else. So you could still have things there, but
Right.
yeah, I just think it seems like it's going to happen. And the thing is,
Yeah.
this guy's trying to tell them he's going to force them to sell the team when they're going to move it 10 and a half miles away from downtown.
Yeah, it's a little
And it's like
ridiculous.
it's like, dude, why did you do this? It's like
Right.
this is why I hate politicians, because they don't think. So
No.
you're going to
Right.
have the stadium sit there 350 days out of the year, have them sell this to another owner that probably won't spend the money Haslam's doing to win right
Yeah.
now, because he is spending the money.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
You can't say he's cheap. So
No.
that's what bothers me. All right, we're about ready to wrap this up. I say take it home. It's a wrestling term. So tons, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Oh,
I
my
really
privilege.
appreciate it. Sherry, my DJF, always. She is a twin. I know that.
I am a twin.
Is she?
Yeah.
We have twin dogs. Our two puppies
Oh
look
yeah.
alike. They're
Wait. Here, come here. I'm gonna say hi to Chip. He's here. I kept him. Come here.
Mine
twin
just
dogs?
wandered in and wandered away.
Well, my dog is 10. He's 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
And he's
We have half German, half pit. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
You look.
Oh,
You said it last week. You were talking about, hi, buddy. Hey,
hey,
Chippy.
hey.
Hey, Chipper.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks just like mine.
my
I
daughters
woke
are
him
asking.
up.
We have a dog and 3 cats. My
Okay.
daughters want a puppy, and I'm like,
No. No, puppy. God, no.
That's a lot of work.
puppies are a
So much work.
lot of work. We
Lot of work.
brought
Yes,
him
they are.
in 11 weeks before we had a kid. It was kind of like our test run. And
Yeah.
Megan Donovan has a
Oh,
Australian
yeah.
Shepherd
Yeah.
puppy.
Cooper.
She calls Cooper.
So-
Okay.
Cooper,
She
yeah.
named him after Amari Cooper.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been getting
So
daily
yeah, and
updates, and
how's she doing?
he's doing
With
awesome, and Coop's doing awesome.
good. Is he yeah, see the other
He's
dog I had before
acclimating.
him.
He's acclimating perfectly. He's doing good.
Yeah, what is he about 12 weeks old, 13 weeks
I
old?
think, yeah, about that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
usually a good
he is
age.
so freaking cute. I can't wait to squish
Yeah.
him.
Cute dog. But any closing thoughts before we wrap this up? And hey, Rob, thank you for the comments. Fans, thank you for the comments. Anything?
If you, I was gonna say, if you have seen on for speaking of dogs, the event that's coming up on May
Oh,
4th
yeah,
for
yeah,
City
yeah.
Dogs through Top
Mhm.
Dog Tailgate.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're looking for donations now, and then there'd be a bunch of Brown stands, brown podcasters, all of us hanging out. So if you
Where,
want to support a good cause, check that out.
where's that at? Where's that being held at?
It's at the pavilion. Do you remember the name
I
of the pavilion? I
No,
don't
because I'm from Canton. I don't remember where it's at. But if you go to Top Dog Tailgate or City Dogs,
yeah,
please City
yeah.
Dogs, and they'll be,
Let me,
and it's on May the 4th with you.
is it on X?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah. If you
Go
go
to
to
Top
Tailgate.
Dog Tailgate. Oh, West
Yeah.
Garden Summit? A West Garden
Yes,
Summit?
yes. Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
yeah,
that's the group. Yeah,
yeah, that's the group. That's where
Yeah.
where I hung out with Spider.
Yeah, yeah.
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 We're all going. He'll be there. Spider will probably be there. Yeah.
It
Steve,
says May
yes, Steve
4th.
is right.
Is it downtown?
It is
Is
in
it or
Berea. No, it's
oh, it's in
closer to
Oh, it's
Berea.
in Berea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, my sister and her family, they live in Brook Park. They used to live down the road from the Browns facility, but they bought the
Oh,
house. Yeah, from the that they used to
oh,
live in Berea. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, because they used to go to the when my nephews were little, they're grown men now. But when my nephews were little, they would go to the Browns practices in Berea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's cool.
Steve. I am always happy when
so
I
yeah,
can see
that's
Steve.
Hang on. Let me look up their Facebook page.
Yeah, I
Top
am
Dogs.
not. I mean, I'm on Facebook. There's my. I do not ever go on it. I do have a Facebook profile, but it is.
Yeah, I'm opening it in my Facebook app. Oh wow, UConn is winning 28-18.
No way! What's the
I think they're picked to win it.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, UConn. I think they're picked
It's
to win
called
it.
Bark at the Park, May 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
Mhm.
tailgate is May 4th. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Top Dog Tailgate, Bark at the Park. Let me see if there's a site for it or if there's a page. Yeah,
It's a
because we went there.
Saturday.
We went there grab breakfast. Harvey and I did in one morning. It was pretty good stuff.
WJ Green Lodge, Berea, Ohio, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Join the Bark side. May the 4th be with you.
Yes. I know I will be there. At what time, I am not sure. But I will be there.
Okay.
You know,
that helps I think it helps a good cause.
Oh yeah,
Anything
yeah,
to
yeah.
help puppies.
Yeah.
I've donated so much stuff, like
Now, is this an
dog
adoption
food
party? If
and-
I bring my kids, they're gonna pick out a puppy.
They don't have
I
puppies.
think there's going to be dogs there.
Yeah, they do have adoptable dogs. I don't know if they usually like to have the dogs that are there the longest, they usually take with them. And no, they're all really beautifully rehabbed. They're very sweet, they're
Yeah.
perfect dogs. They're absolutely perfect.
Cool. Well,
And I leave my dogs at home because they're psychopaths.
I don't know how Archie will react because he had to. It cost me like $500. He had to go to the vet. This goes back like weeks now. He has this lump here on his neck.
Right,
It was
got it.
bleeding and it hurt him because when I was petting him and I accidentally bumped it, he yiped. This was a long time. So
Yeah.
the vet he needed antibiotics. He got the antibiotics. It didn't really help. Second round of antibiotics. Then it's healed, but the lump was still there. And they said,
Yeah.
okay, they don't know what it is. They drew from it. They don't know what it is. So they anesthetized them and took x-rays and scans, and they're going to find out. We should hear something. I could have heard something today or tomorrow, and they're going to figure out what to do. And it was just like that. Yep, that cost us $500. So
No, I mean,
that last cheap.
the poodles had.
Yeah,
I mean, he has Addison's disease, and he had surgery at 3 years old, and this is like the $10,000 poodle is about the total. So he's not like
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Yeah, but I mean, this is his last leg. God forbid anything.
Well, yeah, because my dog before him was 15, and he
Oh,
just kind of just deteriorated, and he was completely
yeah.
emaciated when I brought him in,
Mm,
and they looked at me, they're like, "Yeah, we could keep him alive, but," and
right.
Yeah,
he was
No
he
quality of
basically
life.
blind. He was basically
quality of
blind.
Yeah.
life over quantity,
Yeah, and I
come
said
on.
we had to we had to euthanize him. It was tough.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
I have his
Oh.
ashes. He's on my mantle. Yeah, just so you know, this is the only room in my house where you would know I was a wrestler. You know, yeah,
I
I
don't
got
even
the
have that
posters.
much. I have a corner in the basement. I brought my belt up from the basement just so I could
Oh,
That's
have
so
it with
cool.
me
I
tonight.
love
oh,
that.
But that's
That's
oh,
so cool.
that's in a bag in the basement. So until
I
football
always
season
like
starts.
that. I always like that Steven Crowder thing when he's like people that bring their belts to WWE
Yeah,
show
right.
have to
You have
defend
to
them.
defend it.
Changed my mind.
My goal this year is I want to jump through a table. So if anybody wants to
I'll,
set
I'll,
that up, I want
I'll
to do
put you through.
I want to do a
Put you
Buffalo
through a
Bill
table.
and go right through a table.
I could put you through a table.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh my
You can put on
God.
fire if you want.
No,
Some
no, I'm not gonna
thumbtacks
do that.
on it. We'll go Mick Foley. I don't
Oh,
care.
Jesus.
Bang bang.
No, I'm being facetious, folks. He's not a trained wrestler. I wouldn't do it. I see the Buffalo Bills fans. I love it when they miss the table and they go, splat.
The concrete.
It's just the guy breaks his face, and you're like, okay,
Ouch.
next.
That's probably what happened to me.
That's a big
Yeah.
ouchie.
Mm. Speaking of Crowder, he did have somebody on his show today. He showed an old tape at an Edmonton Oilers game where they had a guy singing "Oh Canada" before the game, and it was a guy with Down syndrome, and it was just like, and they're showing cuts of the players, and they're kind of like looking at each other, like, "Who booked this? Like, what's going?" Like they didn't know how to react to it, and I was like,
Right.
"Wow." He was actually, at least he was auditory, like you can understand
Huh.
him and you can hear it. I mean, he wasn't bad, but because
Yeah.
before that they had a Brazilian. It was a show. It was a American Idol, but it was in Brazil called Brazilian Idol, and they had a transgender deaf mute woman singing
No.
"I
No.
Will Always
Check all the
Love You" by
boxes, huh?
Whitney Houston. Yeah, "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, and she wasn't singing. She was just making noise.
Oh man.
And they showed it, and I'm like, and people in the audience were like, "What the hell?" They're like, they
That's
were
what,
just,
right.
they're like,
Is
"How
this a
do I?"
Saturday Night Live skit?
Yeah, is this a rib? Are they ribbing
Right.
me? Is this like, is Andy Kaufman going to come out?
Right.
They didn't know. I mean, they didn't know what to do, and people were like, "Oh, it's."
Oh, like John Quinones, what would you do? I would run away.
I would just,
Run.
I would, I don't know what I would do. I don't know, but okay, UConn 32, Iowa 26.
Oh boy.
And it's halftime.
That'd be good.
It's halftime.
Okay.
It's halftime. So yeah, so it just started halftime. They're interviewing. Yeah, this is downtown. They got a lot of people in downtown Cleveland for this.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
I was thinking about going to the home opener Monday, but
yeah. Okay. Yes.
Oh,
Let's
great.
end it on the eclipse. Let's talk about the eclipse. I have.
Your
Where did I
glasses.
do this? Yes, I got
You have
my.
your glasses. You have your T-shirt. We match. Me, you, your wife, me. We match.
I got mine.
You got your
Of course,
T-shirt
I'm a walking eclipse, so
from.
anytime I walk by, I block out half the sun. That's not as big of a deal for me.
Hey, tons. I know 5 fat people. Okay, and you're 4 of them.
At least I'm not 4.5. I've lost those double pounds.
I mean, I could
King
go
Kong
with
Bun's
this
my idol.
if you want to go with this, we can. This is for my cell phone.
Okay.
It's the
Oh, the videotape it recorded
yeah.
filter.
Yeah, so hopefully it won't. Hopefully it's. I heard it on Channel 8. This is the weather I usually watch. Said that morning rain, 30% chance of
Mhm.
rain and clouds in the morning, but it will clear up by afternoon. That's what I heard.
They're all
Right.
sweating blood. You know, every meteorologist locally, they're all sweating blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
like they could fix the weather. Yeah, I mean, if you want
It's all
to,
Betsy Quinn's fault.
yeah.
oh, I
Hey,
love Betsy. I love Betsy so much.
what?
Betsy
Yeah,
Queen.
Baskin and Robbins
Queen.
called tons. They're only down to 5 flavors now. He's like, oh, it's okay. We're
Oh,
friends.
it don't bother me none. I walk around Browns games with my shirt off. I mean, what do you think?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna end up wrestling at West Sixth. They're gonna put.
That's right. I gotta defend my belt.
Yeah, after you, I go after Ken Carmen. What's that?
Yeah. You don't know the amount of people that always said that I'm Ken Carmen. I had that. We finally took a picture last year and posted it because I said, this is not Ken Carmen.
No, I mean, well, tons. You and I were going to the softball game together, so we could finally like hug and all that. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Steve just said
there
in Berea.
Yeah, because we haven't actually got to meet each other yet in person, but we met. I brought him on the dog truck.
Well, no, it's funny because tons of we met. I asked to get a picture with him. He had no idea who I was. He had no idea who I was. I was a wrestler and I do all this stuff. And I was just some other regular dude. I sit with the comments. That's what I do. No, I prefer to do it because it was so funny. The one game, Johnny Gargano smashed the guitar, and I knew him. I trained. I was helped train him like 19 years ago in Cleveland All Pro Wrestling. And the guys in front of us were like, "What's with Cleveland and like all these wrestlers? They're like a pro wrestling factory."
That sounds like me.
Yeah, and then Harvey kind of like looks at me and he goes, "Should I tell him?" I said, "No, I don't." No. Well, Eric, the Viking, WWE Viking, Eric, the guy, the Viking Raiders. You know what I'm talking about?
From years ago.
No, he's in it now. I think he's hurt right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I don't watch it any.
He's Ray Rowe. His real name's Ray Rowe. And he was he wrestled at St. Ignatius High School.
Oh, okay.
I trained him to be a pro wrestler.
Okay.
He knew how to wrestle. Cool. I had to teach him how to do the ring psychology stuff and everything.
Oh,
else. Yeah. He's a great guy. He lives in rural Ohio now with his wife. His wife wrote a children's book, and he has a son.
So
Yeah,
cool.
Sarah's awesome. His wife's great. So I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he's doing well. And
I was thinking of the Berserker when you said I was thinking the Berserker.
That's John Nord. That's John Nord. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, it's funny. Do you watch Dark Side of the Ring a lot?
I've watched every episode. Yeah. Just on Harley Race this week.
I told the story the night I won the NWA Eastern States title. Harley Race presented me with the belt and cut it.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking because what got me into wrestling was my great grandfather. My mom's side of the family, we knew him as Pappy because my mom's family's from Tennessee. My dad's family's from Italy. And I used to sit on his lap and watch what he called wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah.
That got me. He went to his grave believing it was real. That got me.
I had a grandfather the same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if he would have saw me getting a belt presented to me by Harley Race, he wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Harley Race was a very nice man. He was
that's what they said. That Yeah.
He's just a guy you didn't want to mess with. So
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But,
oh yeah.
And I always heard that there was only two guys in this world that Andre the Giant was scared of: Harley Race and Haku.
Really?
That's the story I've always heard. They didn't mention it the other night, but I've heard that several times. That's the only two people that Andre was scared of.
Okay. 8 years ago, I was at Charlie Fulton's funeral. Charlie Fulton was the guy that broke me in, that trained me back in '93. Starting in '93 in Marion, Ohio. And Charlie Fulton's wife and Johnny Rod's wife are sisters. So Charlie Fulton's brother-in-law is Johnny Rod's. So at the funeral, Johnny Rod's wasn't there, but Ellen, Irene Fulton's sister, Charlie's sister-in-law was there, just telling stories. And, I got to meet Johnny Rod's a couple times on shows and everything. He was really nice and cordial to me. First time I met Ellen, and she told me the funniest Andre the Giant story, and I'm going to share it with you guys before I end the show. Johnny went to pick up Andre at the airport. She's in a laundromat doing laundry in New York City. Okay, they're doing a Madison Square Garden show. Johnny Rodz pulls up to the laundromat. Andre walks into the laundromat while she's doing laundry, and 7'4", Andre with the afro walks in. Okay,
yeah, right.
7'4", and he goes, "Hey, lady, Where's my underwear? Laundromat full of people. And she turns around and looks, and there's Andre the Giant. She's like, "Oh, hi, Andre." That's Andre. That's Andre. Andre did stuff like that, and he was also
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. There's a ton of stories about Andre.
yeah. Oh, Heenan had great stories about it. Heenan was a very nice guy. I met him at Wrestle
yeah.
in Salem. I
Okay.
thanked him for how good he was for the business.
Oh,
Heenan
yeah.
would talk about how Andre would just be on an elevator and just pass gas,
Fart.
and just fart.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
He put your butt on. He put your butt on in the turnbuckle and fart on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's nothing. He'd sit on you in the middle of the ring and fart on you. What are you gonna do? It's just like
yeah. You know, Heenan as a kid, you hated Heenan. You know, I mean, the Weasel and all that. And then you get older, and it's like, man, that guy was so. Him and Gorilla together were so phenomenal. You appreciate and respect them now.
And Mr. Morella, Gino Morella, Gorilla Monsoon, was a very nice man. He knew Charlie. He said hello to me. And said hello to Charlie when I was at WWF, and he was a very, very good guy. His son was Joey Morella, the referee.
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Joey, it was tragic what happened to Joey. Is like, I want to say it was 4th of July weekend in '94. He died in a car accident, and Gorilla, that was his son. Gorilla was, of course, who would be the same after that? Yeah, Gorilla was, and Gorilla died like 6 years later. So he just was.
Go ahead. I was enjoying the Body, always accused of being Hulk Hogan's personal referee.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the name.
Yeah, that'd be a guy I'd like to sit down and talk with. Would be Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
I would love to just shoot the shit with him.
Yeah,
but
you know he's going to tell it the way it is. He ain't going to pull no punches.
No. Another guy I like too was Chris. You know Chris Palais. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
As King Kong Bundy.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. That's why my outfit is. You know, the whole thing is designed over King Kong Bundy.
King Kong Bundy.
I wanted to change my name to King Kong Brownie, but no one will let me do it. But that's why.
I guess there was a ring rat that wanted to hook up with me in West Virginia. And he was trying to sell. Those are stories. Those are stories for another time. Because
we'll get together on the air, and I'd love to hear them.
I wasn't married back then, and no, this is what I did, and I would tell the Squad Pod this too before, like when Christine and I first started dating, and it was going well. I said, okay, I'm going to handle it this way. Keep in mind, I was 35, almost about to turn 36 at this time. So I sat down with her. I said, look, I just want to tell you something. I don't understand if this is a deal breaker for you. And I gave her the body count.
Mm-hmm.
I wore protection.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But then I asked her too. I said, well, does this count as well? And I was talking about how I'm just going to be, it's after hours. Would oral count?
Right.
And she said yes. And I said, okay, we'll double that number.
The numbers go up.
The numbers go up. Well, I was the one that was selective. I was more selective than the other ones. Other guys didn't care.
Right.
And I'm like, and I wasn't married. I was single. I didn't have a family.
Right.
I didn't make anybody do anything they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I was young and it was what I did.
Yeah.
I look back now, I'm a lot happier today, married with a family, than I was back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I talked to her about it, and then she thought for a minute, and she looked at me and she goes, have you been tested? I said, yes, twice, and I'm clean.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm glad you told me. I said, are you okay with it? I said, look, that's not me anymore. That's what I was in my 20s. Yeah. It's in the past. I wasn't happy.
Right.
That's not what I want.
Right.
And she was fine with it. And
well, I mean, yeah. Good.
No, but because she was real nervous because I think I said the way I set it up and prefaced it, she was like, what, did you do porn or something? What are you talking about? Like she had no idea. Sherry, for guys like me and tons, it's either doing this or it's OnlyFans. So here we are.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I want to start one called Tons of Fans. You know, let's just start mine.
That's really fun. That's a great one.
Well, see, you're better than Flair was married and did all that, the exact same thing you did, even to this day. So,
Well, no, if you're going to be married and do that, why bother getting married?
Right.
Well, plus also too, I said to my wife, now with the girls, I have kids, and to me, it's not being unfaithful to just her; it's being unfaithful to them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't do that, and
Yeah.
being a father and being there for them is probably the best thing I could do for them as they grow up. So, yeah, I told her, "You're stuck with me." I told her, "You're stuck." So,
yeah, I would love to hook up sometime and here's some of the stories about you old guys.
Yeah, I have a really cool midget story that I could tell. I told HR about it. It was great.
You told me, I've heard it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear it sometime.
Oh yeah, I'll see you on West 6. Well, I got season tickets. We've been making the payments. I got one more payment to make.
And then it's yours.
And then yeah, I'll be there. I plan on being at both preseason games and all 8 home games. And I'm hoping that we get the Brazil game, which I think I saw an article about a logistical problem for Green Bay being able to travel because they have to drive to Milwaukee and everything. So I don't think Green Bay wants it, and we do. So, hey, guys, it was fun. And hey, thank you all. Thank you all for joining me tonight. We had pretty good numbers. We had over 1,000 viewers already. Good. So, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. Fans, hey, Burning River Browns Talk Friday night edition. I'll be back Monday morning. Other things are in the works. So much gratefulness. God bless each and every one of you. Yeah, and I had a past, but you know what? Everybody has. So, yeah. If you I mean, what would you have done? I mean, honestly, what would you have done?
Same thing.
Yeah.
But I never looked like you, so.
Well,
that's the difference.
You look better than me. So, all right, guys. Hey, love you all. Hey, remember, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. Wow. Thanks for the comments. Oh.